What's up everyone, guys? Now welcome back to another video. Today we have my AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door 2023. I almost forgot the show name. Predictions. It is a stacked card. We have a lot of great matches to get into. I'm very excited for this one. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. I am recording this Thursday. I am going to be uploading it either Thursday or Friday. So if stuff gets added on Rampage and Collision, of course they're not including this. There is one, I think it's Rampage spoiler because Rampage was taped after Dynamite last night. There is one match that I have seen that has been set up on that. So spoiler alert, skip forward like a minute. I'll make it a quick one. If you do not want it explained, and that first matchup that is kind of set up on Rampage for AEW New Japan Wrestling's Double or Nothing is Adam Cole Baby versus Filthy Tom Lawler, and this should be a good match. Big fan of Tom Lawler. He is someone that, you know, I've been a fan of, but I haven't really watched too much. Like, I've seen bits of him in New Japan and MLW. He's never really had like a big spotlight. You know, he's mostly been doing strong shows. He's going up here against Adam Cole, so this should be a fun match. It is like they're setting up Adam Cole for a future AEW World Title match against MJF. So I do think Cole will get the win here at Forbidden Door over Filthy Tom Lawler. And if that seems like it is being added on Rampage, if anything happens on Collision or gets added on Rampage, but with that, the card is already 10 matches. That makes it 11. So I don't really see there being too much more added, but yeah, just in case there is, sorry, I haven't been able to, I'm recording this before they were announced, so like, what more can I do? But yeah, moving on to the first round of the Owen Hart Cup, we've got a women's match which will be taking place on the 0 hour, the buy-in, whatever, I can't remember what they call it. But that is Athena, of course, the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, versus Billie Starkz. Happy to see Billie back in AEW. In a bit of a big spotlight here against Athena on a pay-per-view pre-show in the Owen tournament. I do think Athena will get the win here. She's been doing a lot of good work in Ring of Honor, so hopefully we get to see a bit more of that on AEW TV. But I'm not against Billie Starkz kind of being a bit of an underdog in this tournament and maybe picking up a few surprises. But I just have a feeling here Athena is going to be the one to pick up the win. And while we're talking about the Owen Hart tournament, let's move on to the main card, because that is the only pre-show match that has been confirmed. Let's talk about the men's Owen Hart tournament with CM Punk versus Satoshi Kojima. Very excited for this match. Big fan of Kojima. I do like Punk as well. Of course, have you ever seen the shoot interview with CM Punk and Samoa Joe from back in Ring of Honor? They kind of talk about Kojima about that, where they pranked Homicide and they're about it and something like that. So yeah, like, if you know that story, this is a bit of a fun match for me. So Punk and Kojima, as much as I love Koji, I do not see him losing to CM. I do not see him beating CM Punk here, especially with Punk recently coming back last week. Yeah, it's just hard to look past CM Punk here, and if I'm taking hazard, I guess CM Punk is probably the favourite to win the Owen Hart men's tournament. Of course, the winner of this will face the winner of Roddy versus Samoa Joe, which will be a banger. That's taking place on Collision over the next couple of weeks. But it's a very good matchup that can come from this in the Owen tournament. Let's talk about the AEW International Championship, as Orange Cassidy then defends against Zack Sabre Jr., Katsuyori Shibata, and Daniel Garcia. Of course, these four had a very fun tag team match on Dynamite last night with, I believe it was Daniel Garcia getting the victory over Shibata, which of course could set up a future pure title match there. Of course, Sabre, your Ring of Honor television champion, but I'm going for Orange Cassidy to retain. He's had a great run here as international champion. A lot of great matches, a lot of great defenses, and I see that continuing here. As I mentioned, Sabre, Shibata already champions in New Japan Ring of Honor. Garcia, I like Daniel Garcia, but I just don't see him being the one to enter Orange Cassidy's reign. As I said, I feel like more likely he ends up challenging Shibata coming out of this. So yeah, I'm going to go Orange Cassidy to retain. Then moving on to a match. If you watched my fantasy booking Forbidden Door card, it's the one that I actually pitched in that. Tony, I know you're watching, you know. Hello. There's actually 2 matches that I did fantasy book on this card, and there's one other one that I found. There's one from my fantasy booking collision that ended up getting made for a Dynamite. So you know, I feel like somebody's definitely watching these. But yeah, first match is Tony Storm versus Willow Nightingale for the AEW Women's World Championship. Of course, if you did watch that, I did talk about this, and it is a match I want to see. Of course, Willow, your New Japan Strong Women's Champion. I was thinking maybe they could go title for title, but they're not. It's just for the AEW Women's World Championship. And because of that, as much as I'm a big fan of Willow, as much as I'm happy to see her get this big pay-per-view match, I feel like Toni Storm will get the win and possibly with help from the Outsiders. But yeah, this should be a very fun match. Happy to see Willow on pay-per-view. Then we have the Blackpool Combat Club. Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli, Konosuke Takeshita, and Shota Umino. So it does look like from what happened on Dynamite, there's a backstage promo with the BCC with Don Callis and Takeshita there. So it does look like they are officially kind of a part of the Blackpool Combat Club. But that is still a bit doubtful because then there was some stuff with Don Callis and Will Ospreay later on Dynamite. Wishing him luck in his match again. Don wishing Ospreay luck in his match against Omega. But yeah, the BCC take on The Elite and Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii. So of course it's Hangman, Matt and Nick, Eddie and Ishii. Who wins this one? It is a tough question indeed. I don't know. I'm gonna go. Blackpool Combat Club got the win at Nikki in the arena, didn't they? Maybe the Elite get the win back here. Yeah, no. I'm going to BCC get the win. I'm going to say Konosuke Takeshita gets the pin, which will then set up a future Takeshita and Omega match, because that is seeming what they're building to. Of course, a lot of people are probably expecting Kota Ibushi to be the Elite's partner once it got once the challenge was made for 5-on-5. Ishii does kind of make sense. He had that match at Dominion against Mox, Claudio, and Umino, and of course he has and yeah, he's a member of Chaos. That's why I knew there was another way I was thinking of. He's a member of Chaos. Blackpool Combat Club have a problem with Chaos because of Danielson and Okada. So in a way, it does. I can see why it makes sense. But yeah, I'm gonna go to Takeshita to get the win here for the Blackpool Combat Club. Again, recently turned them at Double or Nothing. I feel like they will want to carry that momentum forward into setting up that future match against Omega. You could also having just the Elite win with like Shota or Yuta taking the pinfall, but I'm going to go with the Blackpool Combat Hit Club here. I just feel like they're the ones who are going to get the win. Jericho Appreciation Society, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and they team up with Minoru Suzuki against Sting, Darby Allin, and to be announced. Of course, this is something that will be announced at Collision. I don't know if this is, I haven't seen anything. If I was to speculate, I'll say Shingo Takagi, because last year Forbidden Door, it was Suzuki, or it was Sting and Darby teaming up with Shingo Takagi and Hiromu against, I believe it was Bullet Club they faced off against. Let me just open up Forbidden Door 2022 card so I can double check. Yeah, where is it? yeah, it was Darby, Sting, and Shingo defeated El Fantasma, Matt, and Nick. Yeah, I think maybe it was supposed to be a 4-man. That's why I thought Hiromu was involved, but someone got injured. I think that was the case, but yeah, because of that, there's a history there. I'm going to go with Shingo Takagi to team up with Sting and Darby again, and I feel like they'll get the win here over Sammy, Jericho, and Suzuki. Maybe Jericho or Sammy taking the pin, furthering the tension between the sex gods. In that one. Now let's move on to the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match as Sonata defends against Jungle Boy Jack Perry with Hook. I actually think this is going to be a fun match. Sonata and Jack are two very good wrestlers. I feel like they'll put on a good matchup here. I know a lot of people are like, oh, why is Jungle Boy getting this match and all? But yeah, I feel like you need to put someone in there who could take a fall for Sonata, because Sonata isn't going to lose the IWGP belt here, especially to Jungle Boy. As much as I do like Jungle Boy, and I do feel like having him here and having him take a loss actually benefits Jungle Boy, and it benefits kind of the direction it seems like they're going, or at least I think they are going. Because in the promo, of course, we had Jack Perry asking Hook to be in his corner for this match, and he's saying, you know, he wants to win a singles championship. So I feel like this is leading to Jungle Boy losing. You know, he gets annoyed, and you know that he doesn't have a belt. Sees the FTW belt on Hook's shoulder, and he's like, you know what? I fancy that belt now. Because that, and he turns and then set up a future Hook versus Jungle Boy match. Because he would have lost the AEW World Title match, he would have lost the AEW Title match. So I feel like this is a good way of kind of continuing that story of what they want to do with Jungle Boy, and maybe that kind of inevitable heel turn, it seems like, at this point, because fans have kind of started to turn on him a bit already. So yeah, I feel like that is the direction they're going. I feel like that's why they had the promo where when Jack Perry was accepting this challenge, he did ask for Hook to be in his corner. So yeah, maybe there's like something on the outside where, you know, like Taka Michinoku is, you know, there with Sonata, because of course they're in Just 5 Guys. So maybe Taka's there causing a distraction. Hook grabs him, hits him with a suplex or something. Maybe Tai Chi's there, he gets involved, and you know, the brawl at ringside. Referee's distracted, disallows Sonata to put, you know, referee's distracted, Jungle Boy's distracted, disallowed Sonata to then put away Jack Perry, which then kind of gives Jack Perry reason to be angry at Hook and stuff. So yeah, I just feel like that is the way that should play out. Moving on to the second match that I actually did predict in my fantasy booking card, and that is the Ace Hiroshi Tanahashi challenging MJF for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship again. Like I said, MJF being kind of talking down, calling New Japan and Indie Fed. It only makes sense for the Ace wanting to step up, put him in his place, and take that championship gold from MJF. Again, I don't see MJF losing here, as much as I love Tanahashi, as much as I'd love a surprise Tanahashi AEW World Title run. It does seem like they're building to Cole and MJF potentially for All In, hopefully, since I will be out in Wembley. I feel like that would be a good match to have for Wembley for your big world title match. You know, we've seen the chemistry they have from Dynamite in the promos this week. We've seen the chemistry they had in ring last week. So yeah, it's a big title match that I feel like they're building to in All In here. So yeah, I don't see Tanahashi beating MJF, but I do see this being a very good match, because MJF, he's a great character, but once that bell rings, he can go. We've seen it against Punk in the Dog Collar. We've seen it against Cody when he had his match against Cody. We've seen it against Danielson this year in the Iron Man match. We've seen it in the 4-way at All In, or Double or Nothing. So yeah, MJF Tanahashi, I am looking forward to this. Again, a stacked card, a lot of great matches here. I know I've said that a lot. But yeah, I've got to go for MJF over Tanahashi. As much as I'd love a shock Tanahashi world title run here in AEW, I just don't see it happening here at this time. Then moving into the two big matches that everyone is so excited about. And let's go with the dream match first. Let's go Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. One of, if not the best, American wrestlers in the past decade, maybe even longer. First one of the best Japanese wrestlers from the past decade, maybe even longer. Okada and Danielson, two absolute goats, two legends, finally getting in the ring together. And the little stare down, the little tease they gave us on Dynamite was so good. It got me excited for this one. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Just Danielson, Okada, gave him time to tear the house down. Who wins is the big question. Who wins, Okada or Danielson? And honestly, I haven't a clue. This can go either way. Ooh. Who wins? Is it the Rainmaker? Is it the American Dragon? I gotta make a prediction. Let's just go Bryan Danielson. Yeah, why not? Let's go Danielson. Again, I'm not really basing this off of just gut feeling, right? I guess. It's hard to call Danielson Okada. All I know, it's going to be a classic. It's one you're definitely going to want to watch. Prediction-wise, I'm just going to go with Danielson. Again, hard to call, but I gotta go with someone. So yeah, we'll go Bryan Danielson to beat Okada in an absolute classic. There at Forbidden Door. And now moving on to the rematch for my match of the year so far. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay 2. And talked about how good Okada and Danielson's going to be. Whoa. This one's going to be good, because not only are they going to try top what they did in January, they're going to try top what Danielson and Okada do. Known Ospreay and Omega, they're going to not only want to top their match of the year, and again, as I said, my opinion, the match that I think is match of the year already. But we know Danielson and Okada is going to tear it down. We know MJF Tanahashi is going to tear it down. We know, there's a lot of good stuff on this card. They're going to want to top all of that. In terms of results, it is very, 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 very interesting. Very, very interesting. And it all depends on what they do with Kenny Omega at All In. Because I think head-wise, what I'm thinking is Don Callis costs Omega, which sets up Ospreay Omega 3 at All In Wembley. But is that what they're going to do with Kenny Omega? Could we potentially be getting CM Punk FTR against the Elite? Could we be getting, Blackpool Combat Club versus like Golden Lovers and the Golden Elite and stuff? Like, it's so hard to call with Kenny right now, because there's so many different great potential matchups you can do with Kenny storyline wise, and a lot of great stuff like you want to see with Kenny. It's just really, really hard to think, is this the direction they're going to go in? There were reports going around a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago at this stage, I can't even remember, that Will Ospreay is scheduled for a match at All In, which makes sense. They have this working relationship with New Japan. Ospreay probably is the biggest UK star right now in wrestling. So it makes sense why they would want to try work him onto the card. So, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to go with Will Ospreay to win and get the belt back. Whether that does set up the rematch at All In, I don't know. Maybe it would make sense, because first match neutral ground, second home for both men, Tokyo Dome. Match number 2, Kenny's on home turf in Canada. Match 3, Ospreay on home turf. And again, maybe that's just me kind of fancy booking, being hopeful, because I will be at All In. I'm like, yeah, I want to see that match. So yeah, but like I said, there's a lot of other possible directions they could be going with Omega. So maybe not, and maybe Omega does retain and keeps the IWGP US title belt up until like Wrestle Kingdom next year, and he loses it to someone then. But yeah, I'm just gonna go Will Ospreay to get the win here. I feel like New Japan would want to kind of get the belt back on New Japan shows. Kenny hasn't really defended it much. Let me just double check, because yeah, I think his last New Japan match was in the Tokyo Dome. Or no, sorry, it was Wrestle Kingdom week, New Year's Dash the next day. But yeah, he's only had one defense in Dynamite as well, and that was in March against Jeff Cobb. So yeah, I feel like maybe New Japan will kind of want to put the belt back on Ospreay for a bit. I don't know like what the plan is. Like I said, there's a lot of different things you can do with Omega and AEW. Also, you could go for the rematch. So yeah, I'm just gonna go Will Ospreay. I feel like out of all the options, I feel like this is the one I'm kind of most confident in. I feel like I'm more confident in Ospreay winning than Omega retaining. So yeah, I'm going to go Will Ospreay to get the win here. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know your predictions for Forbidden Door. Let me know what you think will be the match of the night, what matches you're excited for. And subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one.